Welcome to episode 133, I believe it is, of the Captain's Quarters podcast. Welcome to episode 133. All right, hold on a minute. Of the Captain's Quarters podcast. All right, I'm trying to make sure I don't say any bad words. Hold on. Why does it? I'm trying to make sure I don't say any bad words. Hold on. I keep forgetting that I had YouTube on because I was looking up stuff. All right, we're better now. Now let me start over. As you can tell, my birthday's coming up, so I'm going to be a grumpy old man.
Oh, yeah.
Grouch.
Yeah. Welcome to episode 133, May 6th, the day before the great birthday of Captain William Mayhem. So those of you that were confused last week when we were talking about my birthday and sent me birthday wishes, thank you a whole week early. But it does show that people don't read.
They don't read.
They don't read
but
at
now
all.
You'll just get more birthday wishes.
I am getting more birthday wishes. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed, I have Miss Gina here. Now, I put in Ancient City Sirens, but I think she wanted me to put in what?
Blue Lotus World Dance.
Oh, that's right, because it's World
all
Belly
about
Dance
belly
Day.
dance. So I had to put on a pirate hat. So I'm a belly dancing pirate.
So I got it wrong. But you know what? All these aliases, and in a few minutes you're going to see some of the different faces of Captain Mayhem. So it gets confusing after a while. And I'm drinking a mimosa fixed for me by my lovely wife.
Cheers.
And here on the table, a bottle of Diplomatico rum, just opened tonight. It was given to me 3 years ago on my birthday, so I'm using it tonight. And Gina's better half.
Where is he?
He's over there, and we'll have a couple of cheers on that. And he's over there watching the other part of the show. On that note, Davey, we always start out with letting everybody know the Pirate and Treasure Museum is our biggest sponsor, our main sponsor, and how do you find us? That QR code that you popped up there, and go to YouTube, get the QR code, like us, follow us, be a part of what we do. We're getting bigger and bigger every week. The nice thing about it is our numbers keep going up. They're not going down, they're going up. And we're doing a real big push here to bring it in to a whole lot more people. I believe our numbers are going to be really good tonight, but we'll see what happens. On that note, we always go into 8 Bells, which is sponsored by the Riker family of reenactors. They do Spanish reenactment, they do British reenactment, and they're part of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers. And I'm very proud to have them be a very important part of Mayhem's Traveling Nautical Museum. They do a wonderful job there, and it's very good to have them there. So on that note, Davey, how many do we have this week?
8.
Oh, it seems to be the standard now. 8. 8 people every week are dying. Wow. All right, let's start. Alice Holloway Young, an American pioneer in education who served as a teacher, advocate, and administrator in Rochester, New York from the 1950s to 2020. Young was one of the Rochester City School District's first Black classroom teachers, as well as the district's first Black reading specialist, vice principal, and principal. Young developed the first and oldest voluntary racially integrated program in the United States and was also a founding trustee of Monroe Community College. She was 100 years old, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Benjamin Auster, an American writer and film director. His notable works include the New York Trilogy, 1987, Moon Palace, 1989, Music of Chance, 1990, Book of Illusions, 2002. Brooklyn Follies, 2005. Invisible, 2009. Sunset Park, 2010. Winter Journal, 2012. And 4321, 2017. His books have been translated into more than 40 languages, and he was 77. So young to have done so many. Wow. Very impressive. Richard Tandy was an English musician. He was a keyboardist in the band Electric Light Orchestra, or most of us remember it as ELO. His palette of keyboards, including the Mini Moog, clavinet, mellotron, and piano, was an important ingredient into the group's sound, especially on the album A New World Record, 1976. One of my favorites out of that year, in fact. I graduated high school. Don't tell anybody. Out of the Blue in 77 and 79 Discovery and 81 Time. Tandy was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2017 as a member of the Electric Light Orchestra. He was 76 years old. Duane Eddy, an American rock and roll guitarist in the late 1950s and early 60s. He had a string of hit records produced by Lee Hazelwood, which were noted for their characteristically twangy sound, including Rebel Rouser, Peter Gunn, and Because They're Young. I remember Peter Gunn. I was a big fan of that one. He sold 12 million records by 1963. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 94 and the Musicians Hall of Fame in 2008. He was 86 years old. Bernard Hill, an English actor. He was known for playing Theoden, King of Rohan, in the Lord of the Rings film trilogy, Captain Edward Smith in Titanic, and Luther Plunkett, the warden of San Quentin Prison, in the Clint Eastwood film The True Crime. Hill is also known for playing roles in television dramas, including Yoser Hughes, the troubled hard man whose life is falling apart, and Alan Bleasdale's Boys from the Black Stuff in the 1980s, and more recently as the Duke of Norfolk in the BBC adaptation of Hilary Mantel's Wolf Hall. He was 79 years old. Richard Glenn Rutan, an American military officer. He was also test pilot and record-breaking aviator who in 1986 piloted the Voyager aircraft on the first nonstop, non-refueled around the world flight with co-pilot Gina Yeager. During his career with the Air Force, Rutan was awarded the Silver Star, 5 Distinguished Flying Crosses, 16 Air Medals, and a Purple Heart. He retired from the Air Force in 78 with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. He was 85 years old. Jean Luann Epper, an American stunt woman and actor. She performed stunts in over 100 feature films and television series and is perhaps best known as Linda Carter's stunt double in the 70s TV series Wonder Woman. One of my favorites, by the way. Yes. Let's see. She was featured in Amanda Michelle's 2004 documentary Double Dare, along with New Zealand stunt woman and actress Zoe Bell. Entertainment Weekly noted that many consider her the greatest stunt woman who ever lived. She was 83 years old. James Mills was an American musician known primarily as a bluegrass banjo player who played the three-finger style popularized by Earl Scruggs. Mills was also known as an expert on pre-war Gibson banjos. Mills worked as the banjo player for Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder for 14 years until the summer of 2010, when he left the band to focus on his business buying, selling, and trading rare pre-war banjos. He was 57 years old. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is our 8 bells. And as always, we raise a glass in honor to each and every one of them, their fans, and their family. 8 bells, Davey. Very good, very good. On that note, Joke of the Week with Minnie Mayhem, sponsored by Salt City Comics, our good comic friend who does a hell of a job making all of us look good in cartoon form out in Utah. And we're going to be working on some new ideas with him real soon. But for now, Salt City Comics brings us Mini Mayhem.
Ahoy, mates! Mini Mayhem here with Joke of the Week, sponsored by Salt City Comics. What did the pirate plumber always tell customers? Think about it, and I will give you the answer at the end of the show.
I don't even have a guess. But judging by the smirk on Davy's face, it's going to be something silly. Yes.
Of course.
Hey, Davy, just a quick question. Since we didn't get a chance to do a whole lot of tech before, is the light all over your face coming from the computer screen?
I think so.
Okay, all right. Because you're looking mighty white.
A little pale.
A little pale. Quote of the week, ladies and gentlemen, Spyglass Travel, one of our favorite tour companies here in St. Augustine. If you want a great walking tour of St. Augustine, the oldest city in the nation, call up my friends. Call up my friends, Kevin and Angie Rose, and book yourself a walking tour of the greatest city, the oldest city in the United States, the most historical city in the United States. Spyglass Travel. What is our quote, Mr. Davy?
Because we have Miss Gina on, I made it a dance quote.
All right, good. A dance quote.
Yay.
The dance can reveal everything mysterious that is hidden in music, and it has the additional merit of being human and palpable. Dancing is poetry with arms and legs. Charles Baudelaire. I hope I pronounced that right. Do you even know who that is?
Yeah, we're good.
Wow.
That's beautiful.
That is very good. Good quote, Davy. He always gets it right there. Most of the time he hits it out of the park. If we were pirates, there are pirates that hit it out of the park. They live in Pittsburgh. On that note, question of the week. Now, I decided to do something special for question of the week this week, and it is by Ancient City Sirens, or their nom de plume would be the Blue Lotus Dancers.
Blue Lotus World Dance Company.
I'm sorry, Blue Lotus World Dance Company. Blue Lotus World Dance.
It's a mouthful.
It is. Wow. We're going to have to shorten that down to BLWDC. BLWDC. That's what we'll call it from now on.
Hey.
But today also, believe it or not, is National Beverage Day and National Nurses Day. So we want to hear what your favorite beverage is, and have you hugged a nurse today? And Nightingale, I'll give you a hug this weekend.
I got a nurse right here.
Are you a nurse too?
I have a nurse.
Well, all right. I'll give you a hug right here. There we go. Hugs all around. There we go. So it is National Nurse Day. Davey, it gave me a thought. Every Monday, I'm going to look up and see what it is for National Day and see if maybe we can keep some of our questions towards that. Make it a little easier on us. But I'll take care of that. You do so much now. That's one of the chores I can do. Upon that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to share with you a bunch of pictures because, tomorrow's my birthday. Davey, did you get the link for my birthday donation for Seawolves? Did I send you that?
You did, so I modified it here.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Old Man Mayhem's birthday fundraiser for the Seawolf Privateers, one of our kind of a brother-sister crew. So when I was trying to figure out what to do, this is how I came up with it. This is going to be all over the internet from now until the 31st of May. I put a limit in there of $700 because 7 is my lucky number. And as you can see, there's many different faces of Captain Mayhem or William McRae in that posting. Over the years, persona may have changed, but never the purpose, the cause, or the dedication. So if you'd like to help the Seawolves, and their main drive is for the foster children program. So please go to that when you see it on Facebook and make a small donation. $700 isn't much, especially if I have 75 people make an $8 a person donation. That adds up to just about $700. So And I have almost 5,000 on my page. So I'm hoping that we can give them $700 towards their cause. So on that note, though, I thought I would give everybody something to laugh at and or make comments of. And Miss Gina here, sitting here with me, I'm sure she'll make some comments, but I thought I would show everybody some pictures of mayhem through the years. I will be actually 66 years old tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. This rum is for medicinal purposes now.
I'll drink to that.
So at 66 years old, here is one of my very first Vegas
Whoa,
shots.
look at that.
Yeah. A lot of people always said that I look just like Orson Welles. And I think so.
I think so.
Yeah. So that's one of my very first, probably around 1987, give or take, maybe 89. And also, while I was out west, there's this one, where I played a gunfighter, card-playing Sharpie out at Old Tucson Studios.
Whoa.
So that's me as a gunfighter in Western clothing doing the cards.
Is that attraction still open?
No, well, it has been rebuilt. It's not the same as it used to be. Old Tucson was really a wonderful place, but it's not the same now. But we haven't been, so I shouldn't say it's bad or good.
They couldn't replace you?
They couldn't replace me now.
Yes.
I know. And then we move on into the 90s, and well, look at that purple suit.
Look at that purple.
Look at that purple. Yeah.
Purple people eater.
And the short coat too. That's before Mayhem had a gut. Short coats look really stupid on guys with a gut. I can tell you that. I have another one that goes with this. Let's see. It is this one right here. Davey, I'm learning it pretty smooth, right?
Whoa.
Yep.
Look at that.
There you go. I had a blue. See, that blue coat is the same as the purple coat. And the next picture is going to show you that we had a black one too. I had a black one, a purple one, and a blue one.
And a white one.
And a white one. I don't know what happened to the white one, but that's me doing a show. And then this next one, we've shown this before, but I just wanted to show it again to give honor to my good friend, Mr. T.A. Burrows. Oh, that's not it. Go back.
Oh my
There you go. T.A. Burrows. And one of the reasons I put this up there, Afro Jacks. That was one of his opening jokes. And then he would say, and it was the cereal with a prize in it, and he'd bring out they called them rakes back then, the Afro rake. That's a joke we couldn't do today. People would get very upset with us. It's one of the reasons why I miss comedy clubs, but I don't miss comedy clubs. I just read an article with Jerry Seinfeld today that the woke culture is the birth of comedy as we know it. So there it is right there. And I can't see the comments right now, but Davey, if anybody puts up a good comment, even a bad comment, if you want to throw it up there, that's good. This is for the enjoyment of everybody. Let's get rid of that one. And there's one of my comedy club shots right there. Yep, I have 3 hands.
Very animated face.
Yeah, very animated, 3 hands.
That's kind of creepy.
Just a little.
Just a little creepy.
It's a little man hand.
It could be a back scratcher.
That was what was it? A Saturday Night Live skit. Big man, little coat or something. I don't know. So. But this was a publicity picture we used to promote everything that we were doing back then. This one right here. Yep. The Magic Endeavors of Bill McRae. That's before I went by William. And look at that. I can catch a bubble.
Fancy.
Isn't that fancy?
Fancy.
And and we're just showing these pictures to show you that 66 years of being an entertainer, look at where it's gotten me. Sitting on a bench next to Miss Gina. So let's get rid of that one now and show you this one. This is one of the first times my name was up in lights in Las Vegas.
Oh.
Right there. Let's see. It's somewhere in there. Did I get the wrong picture?
Yeah.
I did. I got the wrong picture. All right, let's delete that one.
You're on there.
That's me.
That's the jumbo jackpot.
The jumbo
picture.
jackpot picture. Damn. There's another one. I'll have to go find it now just to prove it.
You were blind.
I want to see it.
yeah.
I want to see it.
So there's a publicity picture we used towards the end, around 2006 and 2007 when I first moved here and tried to do magic. It didn't work. That's why I'm a pirate. The magic shows we tried to do back then didn't work. How did you and Kara meet, Captain?
Don't answer that.
My wife was a great waitress in a fine,
Establishment.
I was going to say a fine social establishment. We'll leave it at that. Now, over the years, I've had several people do cartoon work of me, and this is one of the very first ones done of me, probably back in around 2000 and 2008 or 2009. Yep. And from there, I still use that once in a while because it's a really good picture. It really is. And it was around 2009 or 10 because there's the Black Raven in the background there. So, but this is my, I don't know what you want to call it, but this is my,
Sassy.
You want to date this guy? There you go, but don't tell my wife.
I'm sitting right here.
Yeah, I know. And then this next one, and so I'm sharing my birthday past with you and the things I've done. It just gives me joy and it gives me joy even if you make a really funny comments over it. I don't mind. I'm okay with it. But this was it's a still taken out of a video of a show that we did halftime when the Jacksonville Sharks made it to the championship, and this made it to ESPN. And basically, the storyline was that I was a new coach that had been called in to whip them into shape to make sure they win. That is a whip you into shape picture, isn't it? That is a really great picture showing how I'm typically always screaming and hollering.
Whipping them into shape.
Whipping them into shape. I've got a picture an artist drew of you for the Mad Magician's Haunted Attraction. I'm going to show that. I think it's in here somewhere. We'll show that in just a minute. So, yeah, such a great photo. Thank you, Patience. You're kind. So I went from doing this to, believe it or not, I got to be Captain Hook. Oh, wait a minute. No, this is a different one. This is a show we did at the Oak Tree when the Colonial Oak first opened. And there's me and Diego and Andrew Nance. And there is, I'm not going to even try to give everybody's name because I can't think of all the names yet. I was going to send over a cake and candles, but forestry would not permit the burn permit.
Smart.
Yeah, Jim, you should talk. But that was a show we did for about 4.5 months, 4 or 5 shows a week. It was a comedy musical show, and it wasn't very taxing for me because I played a drunk magician.
It was a good role for you.
It was a good role for me, and that man in the cowboy hat, him and I wrote the show together. I helped him. He did most of the writing, but he thought it was hilariously funny that the first 20 minutes of the show, I had to be laying on the stage in a pile of clothing, drunk and sleeping for 20 minutes while the show's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is my actual character right here. That's me. Look at the curled up shoes.
That's a fancy hat.
That is I still have that hat. I still have the hat and I use it. Johnny Wasco is saying hi. Very good. So let's see. Then I also, and this is actually before, I've got them out of sequence, but it doesn't really matter because it's my show. I can do what I want, right? I was Captain Hook in 2016 and 2017. There I am right down there next to the crocodile. But if you want to see my character a little closer, this is how I looked as Captain Hook. Oh, wait a minute. That's how I looked as Captain Hook.
Were you wearing a wig?
Yes, I was wearing a wig, but we colored my beard and everything else and made me dark, and that was it. I just had one of my pirates in the show was one of the dancers, and she was about 9 or 10 years old, and she played the part of Smee. Her parents ran into me this past weekend and told me that she has just got her she just graduated college with a PhD. That's how far back, and how she was a lot of fun. So then, of course, everybody knows that I got involved with Pat Croce and the Pirate and Treasure Museum, and well, really the rest is history, and that's Pat Croce, and a good friend. And for 13 and a half years, I've been his pirate, and it's been a wonderful time. And a great publicity picture that we use, nothing important, but this picture and several others of my face now get used. Cover of a magazine, Love in Our Town, St. Augustine. The one picture that's been used the most, though, ladies and gentlemen, is this one right here.
That's a great picture.
It is a great picture, yeah, I have to say.
Favorite.
But guess what? It got used by the Ancient City Con, and it got used by the St. Augustine magazine, Love in Our Town. They used it both times. So that picture really kind of tells all, I guess. Now, if you want to see the old man, and this is the picture that people have said I look like Thor's dad.
Perhaps.
All right.
Yeah.
And no man is complete without his companion, the dog. That's Max. And that's on your ship.
It is.
I
yes.
think
Celtic Fest.
Celtic Fest, 2 Celtics ago, I think. Yeah, two
That was
Celtics
the year
ago.
we won.
That was the year we
Yeah,
won.
Best
And it was
Cook.
because of Max.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, Max.
Max.
So this picture I like to show off, this next picture I like to show off because it just is really a great picture. And it's not because I'm in it, it's because of the mood of the picture. That's a great picture.
That's your favorite?
That's one of my favorites, especially since my best side is to the camera. But the fog was rolling in that morning. It was at a run we were doing for Palencia Elementary School. And so, you know, that's just the way it was. And then, well, once in a while you can get a good shot of me thinking.
What were you thinking about?
We don't want to know. I was probably thinking of rum. Yep. Rum it was.
That looks like a rum face.
Yeah, and that was probably in an event, so I was probably thinking, I hope this event hurries up and ends so I can have rum. And let's see, let's do this. So this was a great shot that somebody took of me, and now the Seafood Festival will use this every year for their advertisements. I've just been very lucky in my hometown that there's been some great pictures taken by other people. They're all candid shots. That's the nice thing about it. I'm not necessarily opposed for everything. Oh, just had to slip that one in there, didn't you? That's because I'm getting old. And we're going to close this off here, ladies and gentlemen, by saying this. Let's see. Davey, you got any others you want to slip in?
No, I just wanted to.
All right. So we're going to close it off by this. Ladies and gentlemen, for all of you that have been a part of my life, especially since 2007, including Miss Gina, the girls, Ancient City, Blue Lotus, World Dancers, the whole 9 yards, the St. Augustine Swashbucklers, and any of the other crews that I've had the privilege and the honor to enjoy time with and have loyalty from, then I like to say, join me for a cigar and a drink. We always go down to Iron Horse every year and relax. And I say thank you very much for all the wishes that I know that I will be getting over the next 3 or 4 days. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I hope that you will donate to the Seawolves in my name. It will honor me greatly if we hit the 700. I'm not going to say I'm going to make it hit 700, but we'll see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, to all of you that celebrate my birthday and my podcast with Davey and all the people that are on it, it's not just my podcast, it's Davey's podcast. And if it wasn't for Davey, half this crap wouldn't work. So Davey is indeed the navigator of this. and a good friend that shares my birthday with me. Huzzah to everyone.
Huzzah.
Upon that note, Davey, go ahead and hit us with This Week in Nautical History.
Oh, and look what I did find.
Oh, there we go. ELWDC. There you go. We'll pop that up every once in a while to remind me that I made a mistake. God forbid.
No mistake. I just have a split personality.
Oh, and who sponsors This Week in Nautical History?
What's that, Davey?
Who sponsors This Week in Nautical History?
Oh, that would be Florida Water Tours, wouldn't it? Who else do we want to sponsor us but Florida Water Tours? Florida Water Tours sponsors This Week in Nautical History. If you want a great tour of St. Augustine from the Matanzas Bay, that's where you need to go. I'm going to start working on a couple of summertime trips up on the waters. And if anybody wants to come and join Captain Mayhem, we're looking at doing something maybe in July after the 4th. So we'll see what we can do. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, This Week in Nautical History.
Welcome to This Week in Nautical History, sponsored by our friends at Florida Water Tours. Experience the Intercoastal Waterway at its finest, featuring picture-perfect attractions. We begin this week in nautical history in the year 1541. Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto and his expedition are the first Europeans to discover the Mississippi River. 1624, Dutch Nassau fleet reached port of Callao in Peru, intending to ransack the annual Spanish silver ship convoy. Misses them by 5 days. 1797, first U.S. Navy ship, the United States, is launched. 1801, first Barbary War. The Barbary pirates of Tripoli declare war in the United States of America. First U.S. Foreign War. 1823, first steamboat to navigate the Mississippi River arrives at Fort Snelling. 1875, German SS Schuyler sinks near Sicily Islands, 312 killed. 1902, British SS Camorta sinks in a cyclone in the Gulf of Martaban near Rangoon with a loss of about 739 lives. 1915, RMS Lusitania sunk by German submarine off the southern coast of Ireland. 1,198 lives lost. 1942, Battle of Coral Sea ends, stopping Japanese expansion. And finally, in 1943, Liberty ship George Washington Carver, named after scientist, is launched. And that was This Week in Nautical History.
Aye, very good. Very good, Davey. Always right on spot with everything. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the next segment is not sponsored by anybody yet. We might get a sponsor for it because I'm trying to make some changes to it. We normally use it as talk about the crew adventures, which would be the swashbucklers and any other crews. But we're going to change it to the new adventures of the podcast, pirate cruise, and other events that might interest you. So it'll be a nice big long title, longer than Blue Lotus World Dance. But in that, we'll talk about anything that is pertinent to the podcast for pirate cruise or events that are coming up. If you're the captain of a crew, we'd like you to send us information about your events. We will start putting some kind of a calendar chart up to start letting people know what's up there and what's out there. It doesn't matter if there's events on top of each other on different weekends. We can support many of the events in many ways. And I have been saying for the last 3 months, when you go to an event or when you see an event, if there's 2 events to go to, if you can't go to both, you can at least help advertise and support them with your words on Facebook, on social media, and or make a donation to their cause if they're doing it for charity. On that note, this podcast has a t-shirt project going on, and we'd like to get you to get a t-shirt. That t-shirt will look just like that. Well, the logo will be a little bit lower, but the sports corner, I was supposed to go fix that. Too many things I forgot. I'm getting old. I forget things. Yeah. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. So if you want that, ladies and gentlemen, the t-shirts are $26. We've made that so that we can, if we have to mail it to you, we can cover the shipping and handling and everything else. And the Humane Society is on board. Also, Sports Corner is very happy with what we're doing. We're going to give a couple of dollars for every t-shirt sold to the Humane Society for their summer food bank. They're always needing food, especially during the summertime, because people go on vacation and people forget about them. And then sometime in late June or early July, the Humane Society will be sitting right here on the show with us, talking about all the things they do here in St. Johns County, and we will give them a check based on how many t-shirts we sell. I'm shooting for at least 50. That's why the first 50 orders will receive a free Captain's Quarters token, a podcast token, which looks just like this one with our new logos and stuff on it. And we'd like you to have one of those. So you get a token for free and one of our t-shirts. Now, don't make Davey or Mandy Joe come up and force you into buying a t-shirt. But we'd love to sell off these t-shirts to everybody if we can. And it goes for a good cause. A portion of the money to the society, Humane Society, and a portion of the money to take care of some of the expenses of this show, because it's not free. If you don't know, you can't just go on board YouTube and start doing your own thing. So on that note, our t-shirt project, you have until the 31st of May. So only a couple more weeks. Let's see if we can sell some t-shirts. All right. Also, magic seminar. Nope, not a magic seminar, an acting seminar. Duh. We'll be doing an acting seminar in June, July, and August. If you'd like to learn a little bit more about creating your character, the etiquette of your character, and all the things that go on with being a performer, entertainer in cosplay, pilot, dance, Spanish or British, whatever it is, even tour guides. I have a couple of tour companies that have asked if they could send all of their tour guides to my acting seminar, which I think is a good idea. It would be really nice to have everybody in St. Augustine who does tours and does stuff that the tourists see. It would be really nice to have them all on the same page.
Absolutely.
It's very important. So we'll be looking at that for June, July, and August. On that note, I guess I don't really need to.
No, wait a minute, Captain. There's a couple of things. Katie, from
that's
School of
right.
Privateers, sent over a couple things.
Well, let's show off what she sent us. So those are the upcoming events for the foster children put on by the Seawolf Privateers. May 24th is the Puppy Pals at the Fitzgerald Performing Arts Center. May 25th is Penumbra Festival. June 8th is Pirate and Mermaid Adventure Day for the foster families. They've asked me to come out and do magic. I have yet to ask most of my crew if they want to be a part of it. That goes from 3 to 7 on June 8th. So we'll want to go out there and do something with them. June 29th, take me out to the ball game at Daytona Tortugas with dinner. That'll be interesting. October 13th, Pirate Booty Bash for Halloween. And December 15th, Milk and Cookies with Santa. If you want to help support them, well, there you go. Where can you find the Seawolves? May 11th, Touch a Truck. May 25th, Penumbra. May 27th, Memorial Day Parade in Palatka. July 4th, the Flagler Beach Parade. And August 2 and 3, Murder Mystery Dinner Fundraiser. Not another one! We went to the last one and had a good time. So there's your ways to support the Seawolves. And of course, you can support them by making a donation in my name to their event.
And then we have one more, another.
And one more. Go ahead, Davey. World Belly Dance Day, free show and classes at the Plaza de la Constitucion, downtown St. Augustine, May 11th. That's this Saturday.
Yeah.
And you're raising funds for Alia's Acres. It's free from noon to 2. Donations of pet food and supplies collected on site, and monetary donations may be made also. So on that note, leave it up there for a minute, Davey. On that note, I guess everybody knows who Miss Gina is, but officially we introduce Miss Gina as the leader of Blue Lotus World Belly Dance, whatever.
Dance company.
Dance company.
Because
And
we
or
encompass all styles, not just belly dance.
that's right. That's why it doesn't matter to me what I call you. You do it all. Miss Gina, you can bring it down now. Miss Gina and the girls will be there this Saturday and doing stuff for Elia's Acres. It is one of the other ones that the Swashbucklers also do, also on top of that. But they're doing it for Elia's Acres this time. So now that you've been on the show for an entire 40 minutes, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
What do you want to tell everybody about this Saturday? Let's start with that first.
Well, our event begins at noon, and we will be demonstrating many different types of Middle Eastern and Near East dance. And we're doing it all for a great cause. We're doing it for Ayla's Acres No-Kill Animal Rescue Facility that offers all sorts of different programs, spay and neuter programs, and they have a facility in which they are in the process of building to be able to provide clean, a very clean facility and excellent veterinary care for our animals that do not have homes. They continue to provide care for their animals throughout the life of the animal too. And I think right now they have 75 animals, including horses, donkeys, pigs, cats, dogs, all sorts of livestock.
Don't tell Kara they got a donkey.
Hey, you've got quite a few animals here
She'll
too.
want a donkey.
What's wrong with that?
Well, nothing wrong with it, but as long as he can sleep in her bed, I don't. So I do have an observation though. Your other half, Ed, he's lost a lot of weight.
He
Goes
has.
through the spay and neuter program.
I don't know. You have to ask Ed directly.
So no, Elia's Acres is a fine organization, and in fact, the St. Augustine Swashbucklers are on their angel wall.
Yes.
Because we donated so much money to them after our Halloween event. So they're a good organization, and almost everybody really wants to do stuff to keep all these animals from being needlessly put to sleep. It was sad and you've lost a couple of animals over the last month or two.
I have.
They're children. There are children. It hurts.
There are babies.
There are babies.
And they do need foster parents. So even if you can't fully adopt and provide a lifelong home for the animals, you can become a foster parent, and they need volunteers. And we are also doing this fundraising awareness event on World Belly Dance Day,
which is May 11th.
May 11th.
Right.
Yep, Saturday, May 11th. Dancers across the globe will be celebrating our special day of World Belly Dance Day. So we are putting on our awareness and fundraising event. Other dancers might be doing flash mobs or workshops or different types of educational programs to promote our dance and our style. So come on out and check it out. It's going to be a lot of fun. And if you've ever wanted to try belly dancing, then I am happy to show you how to shimmy, how to undulate, how to do those fancy hand isolations and all kinds of fun stuff.
And just a piece of advice, ladies only, please.
No. Men belly dance.
Most of the pirates that I know should not be undulating.
Male belly dancers are a hot commodity.
I'm sure they are, but they're probably built a lot better than most of us pirates. Well, that's because most of us pirates drink rum.
Well, traditionally, though, they were castrated.
Oh, well, I'm not dancing anymore.
Way back in history, there would have been male belly dancers involved with the harem, but
They were like eunuchs then.
they were eunuchs, exactly.
Well, moving on.
Don't let that scare you.
Well, I guess when you get older, it doesn't really matter. On that
note.
So let's do this. Let's talk about how long you've been doing this, because you are, when I brag about you, and you can correct me, but we'll leave it alone if you don't want to. When I brag about you, I tell everybody that you're in the top 100 at least of the dancers of the world. I make it that big a margin just in case I'm wrong, but once in a while, if I've had a couple of rums, I tell everybody you're in the top 20.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Here, have some more rum.
Have some more rum. But you've been doing this for how long now?
over 2 decades, and I've been dancing my whole life. So we won't say how long that is. but
Davey,
it's-
did you happen to
it's a
find any
few
pictures of
years.
her?
Hey, I had one in the thing, but yeah.
Ah, good. We're not just showing pictures of me tonight, you know. We need to show pictures of other people too. So you've been dancing in a dozen different styles almost all your life then.
Yes, I've been dancing my entire life, or doing some sort of movement, fitness, or some sort of activity that keeps me. Wow, is that
That's
going
probably Maggie.
It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I did my first solo at 10 and started becoming drawn to belly dancing because it's so beautiful and powerful, and it's a great way to express yourself. And then people just started asking me to teach and asking to learn. So I started teaching. I never really set out to be a teacher, but 2 decades later, I'm still doing it, and I still have students wanting to learn from me. So that makes me very happy. I love sharing my knowledge, and I love learning. So I continue to take workshops with some of the best in the world.
Now you traveled to the Middle East
I have, yes.
several times.
Yes.
And you study and share the stage. I'm going to say you study, but you share the stage, you dance with some of the world premier dancers of all time.
Yeah, some of the highlights of my career are definitely dancing in the Middle East. And
Do they, how do I want to ask this question? Do they accept you because you've done this so long? Not just because you're very talented and you do a very good job, but do they accept you because you have a lot of time invested in this and you become known?
I think that they accept anyone that is serious about the art form and that is serious about learning about their culture. The dance world has its own community and its own subculture that is generally very supportive of all dancers, from beginners to advanced.
Kind of like the pirate community,
Kind of,
pirate like
yes.
cosplay, kind of like Renaissance.
Yeah,
They're all
exactly.
subcultures.
Exactly.
So, but I guess without being completely too blunt about it, but I guess I'm going to have to be, are you known by some of these people?
Yes.
Yes, that's what see, you're not going to brag about yourself, so I'm going to brag about you. So you are known by some of these people because you have made an impact with your talent, and you do so much for the belly dance community in this state or in this part of the country, correct?
Yes, we're very connected. And with the advent of social media, we've become even more interconnected. When I started dancing, I had to travel to seek out teachers, or I had to contact them and beg for VHS tapes. Now we have the luxury of studying with people all over the world if we just plan to get online for the day. So it's changed a lot, and it's just something that I'm extremely passionate about and something that I enjoy immensely. And my biggest joy is watching my students grow. So I think that's my superpower. That's where my heart is at this time in my career, not so much dancing as a soloist anymore. My passion and my superpower is teaching.
Well, that's very wonderful. That's a good way to look at it. You and I have been friends now since about 2008, at least, which would put us at about 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
Let's see, 12, 16, 17 years. So we share some of the same. We've had a professional, and we've become good friends. Your family, my family, and we have some of the same likes and dislikes about the entertainment community and the world around us. We've been very supportive of each other, and we always have each other's back, so to speak. So, in this world where anybody and everybody can just go online and do something now, there aren't a whole lot of safeguards to keep that from happening anymore. It's just social media has just opened it up to everybody. And I've lost where I was going with this. It was really
I think
important.
you have to proceed with integrity
You do?
and know your product, and know your audience if you're going to be an entertainer, and particularly if you're going to be an instructor. You must do your own research, and you must proceed with integrity and knowledge.
I know where my point was. My
Did I
point was
help?
this. Yeah, you did. You helped. You brought my point back. At 66 years old, I'm entitled. So you said that your greatest joy is watching your students. One of my greatest joys, and I think you'll share the same thing because it's almost the same thing. One of my greatest joys is there are so many pirates in this area that most of them would not have become pirates and would not have become friends if it wasn't for, it sounds really terrible for me to say this. It's not meant to be egotistical, but if it wasn't for me bringing all these people together in some way, shape, or form with all these things since 2007, a lot of these people would not be pirates, a lot of these people would not be friends, and a lot of these events would not be going on.
Oh,
And
I
it's-
completely agree.
and it's the same with-
100%.
And it's the same with you too. Without all the things that you've done and the teachings you've done and the women that you've come in contact with and shared your knowledge, a lot of them wouldn't be doing any of this at all.
It's
None.
true.
And I think the bad part of that is that that's the one time that there is so much. Miss Nightingale in Florida says you're a great teacher.
Thank you.
The one part of this whole thing is that it makes it very difficult to know who you can work with and who you can't. It makes us step on eggshells at times.
Yes.
So it's tough.
Well, and you have to learn to set boundaries.
Yes.
Which is something that I've learned the hard way. And I usually look for only the good in people, even when they demonstrate something that is not only the good. But if you're going to open your heart and you're going to be an instructor, you have to set boundaries for yourself and you have to enforce the boundaries. And I am happy that I've inspired other dancers in the area. I am very happy about that. If I lit some sort of a fire or a flame within someone to want to pursue dance, whether it's my style, which I consider the tribal styles of belly dancing, which stem from folklore and oriental roots of belly dancing, or if it's another type of belly dancing with props, or belly dancing with fire, or whatever your passion is, I'm happy that I inspired anybody out there to dance, or if I can inspire someone new to dance. My greatest joy is when someone comes to class and they say they have 2 left feet and they say they'll never dance, and then I see them spinning and dancing and they have flowers in their hair and they look beautiful and happy with so much joy on their face. So that's why I continue to do it even when it gets hard, because it's not always easy.
No.
It's not always easy to stay inspired yourself. It's not always easy to deal with certain things that we have to deal with when things don't go as we expect. But if you're passionate enough about it, then you will find your joy and you will find your inspiration. So please come out Saturday and
Yes.
let me teach you some belly dancing.
In fact, here's a suggestion for you. If you come out Saturday and you go and participate with Miss Gina, I also will be at the Pirate Museum doing tours, so you can come and see a tour also at the museum. And I'll try to do something that if there's some way you can prove to me that you went and supported Alia's Acres, I'll do something for you if you come and take one of my tours.
And bring some food. Bring some
Pet food, yes.
We're accepting donations, so please bring pet food. And if you would like to make a monetary donation, then we will have an ALA's rep on site so that you can make a donation directly to them online.
So there's a comment by Patience. The comment prior was from Nightingale in Florida. She's a member of the St. Augustine Swashbucklers, but she's also a member of Miss Gina's dance troupe. And there's Patience, and she says, as a student of Gina, I can say she is the most phenomenal teacher, supportive, creative, doesn't care about age or fitness level. She welcomes everyone, and I can't recommend her more. That's a very good
Thank you.
recommendation. So let's go to the history of things, because here's another similarity. Anybody and everybody thinks they can be pirates, but I enjoy more people that start to lean towards the history of pirates, the golden age of piracy, or other pirate eras. Your dance comes from history. You've already made that comment. Your dance comes from history. And so I'm going to throw this question in. There are a lot of countries. Belly dancing is just not really synonymous with the Middle East, is it?
No.
You expand that.
I feel that I mean, you can go down a lot of rabbit holes, and I've studied a lot about the history and where belly dancing came from originally. But I do believe that movement is not owned by anyone. So movement was a gift that people shared when they traveled throughout the trade routes. So I believe that some of the movements probably started in the Middle East and in Africa. And when I really take a really good hard look at different dance styles and the way that we move our body in belly dancing or Near East dance, it's very similar to traditional Indian dances. So I think some of the movement came from India, and I think it was borrowed from different dancers, different musicalities, different spices, different foods, different ways of movement that people shared and borrowed and learned and taught throughout their travels. So there is Lebanese style belly dancing, Greek style belly dancing, Egyptian style, Turkish. Russia has a huge belly dance community.
Look at the
America
travels.
does.
Look at the travels and the conquests of Genghis Khan. That one comes to mind right away, and that's Chinese, Mongolian.
Yes.
They had dancers also.
Yeah.
So Japanese. The geisha girls had certain dances and certain moves that were
Dance
part.
is the universal language.
It is.
And it's
but
a
it's
way
a combination
to
of
express.
dance and music.
Yes. Well, you must be expressing your music.
Right.
That's my only hard and fast rule is you must express the music. You have to show what the music is trying to say through your body. The first thing that you have to do is connect to your music. So I feel that when people couldn't speak the same language, they expressed things through dance. They expressed things through movement.
So music and dance, I'm going to throw a piece of history out here that's St. Augustine history. When Pedro Menendez took care of the French Huguenots, there were some of the French Huguenots who were pirates in the Spanish eyes, but in the French eyes they were privateers. But when he executed most of them, there were a certain group of them that he allowed to live. Do you know why he allowed them to live?
No.
They were musicians. He needed musicians. He did not have the musicians he wanted, and he needed musicians because music can even be translated even over to one other thing. Music helps work. Think about it this way. Chain gangs working on a ship. They're working in time to the music. So music and dance is right here. It's woven together, and it's historical. The only other thing I could throw in there that I would say is just as old as music and dance is magic, because there are hieroglyphics in Egypt that show certain tricks or certain things in the scenes that many magicians believe is early magic.
Well, and if you wanted to survive and you became an entertainer, the chances of your survival and your livelihood were much greater.
Absolutely. Entertainment is the thing,
Yes.
which sadly makes me think of, I just saw a writing by Jerry Seinfeld, who has written an article that he believes that comedy in general is on the verge of death because of the way the world is right now, which is sad. Because
sad.
Comedy, magic, dance, music, all of those are important. Acting would be in there, because when you're dancing, you're acting. You are presenting there's a couple of times there's a couple of times I've teased you a couple of times, and some of your girls are on there watching, so this is going to get me in trouble. But how many times have I always told I've come up to you afterwards and go, "Your girls should be smiling, shouldn't they? They should be happy. I've told you that several times, right?
Yes.
Now it's always jokingly. It's not a critical comment. It's always because you and I always joke about just about everything. If we have an issue that we have to talk about, it always is. I always turn it into humor, as you do too, and that's how people get along. See, there's Davey doing some work.
There you go, Davey.
There you go, Davey. Very good. So dance is very, very important because it is the way that you express your mood, your life.
The emotions that you store in your body need to come out in some way. So dance is
You
a
mean I
positive
can't keep punching
way.
walls?
No, you can't keep punching walls.
All
You
right.
should just do some shimmies
I
or
should
some
do some
figure
shimmies.
eights, and you'll feel a lot better.
But I'll do those shimmies in the privacy of my own home. Wait, you know what? I'm going on a cruise at the end of the month. I wonder what they do to me if I went out there and shimmied on the foredeck.
They would probably like it.
Now they'd probably throw me overboard.
Or throw you in the pool.
But it is important, and what you do, it's one of the reasons why when we do the Celtic Festival and we do the Seafood Festival, you're always a part of it. You are a main integral part of everything I set up for those events. And although I don't really have a control over what happens with the Celtic Festival, but you are their go-to for what you do. So any event, we've done other pirate events before, and you've always been a part of it. We've done the rum festivals down in Daytona. You've been a part of it. You've had your girls there. How many students do you have active right now?
Probably about 30.
See, that's a pretty good group.
Yeah.
Don't want to piss them off because they dance with swords too and fire. So that's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Well, it takes about 2 years before I actually bring a dancer out to perform anywhere, unless she has some other dance training or she's relocated here and has some knowledge of movement. And it's really important to me that all of the dancers that I bring out have a good experience, and also that the audience understands what we're doing. So each audience and each event requires a different mindset on costumes, on musicality, on props. It all has to make sense. And also, you need to, I think one of my pet peeves of dance is people that don't understand that we're representing all dancers. So if someone has never seen a Middle Eastern dancer or a belly dancer, and they only see a poor rendition of it, then that is their experience, and that's what they're going to hold on to and judge all of the dancers by. And also to get permission when you want to dance. So I call it the ignorance is bliss stage, where everything is fun. You just want to put on your shiny coin belt and you want to go have some fun and you want to shimmy and you want to dance around. But just showing up and dancing in places where you haven't been invited or you haven't gotten permission is unprofessional. And not all the bands want you to jump up and dance
Right.
in front of them. So just be mindful.
Absolutely.
Mindfulness is very important.
It's called professional courtesy.
Yes,
When
exactly.
I teach my acting seminar, one of the segments is about a certain amount of professional courtesy. There are a lot of tours in St. Augustine, lots of tours, and I can be walking down the street. If I know the tour guide, I will not invade their tour unless invited, because the minute you invade their tour, you might upset their flow that they have with their audience, and you don't want to do that. And I see pirates and reenactors that will just ingratiate themselves into any group downtown, and they shouldn't do that. It is discourteous to the tour guide. It's discourteous to the band. I always refer back to pirates, but it's not just pirates. It's just anybody that is wearing a costume when they're downtown. They see a group of people and they go and insert themselves in that group of people. And the biggest reaction you're going to get is a whole lot of standoffish, like, where in the hell did this person come from? What are they doing here? Now, a lot of times people will smooth out about it, but you still create a bad image. I always jokingly say that the Jackson 5 had it completely wrong. Their song, One Bad Apple Don't Spoil the Whole Bunch, Baby, they're wrong. One bad apple, one bad pirate, one bad dancer, one bad reenactor, one bad tour guide. And people will walk away going, well, that sucked. That was terrible. And then they judge everything else based on that one experience and may never, ever walk back into that experience again. So you're right. It is professional courtesy, and it's very important. And there are just lots of people that just jump up and I'll go back to the pirate community. I know pirates that go "ar" and "I" and "give me a rum," and that's the extent of their pirate vocabulary. If they knew a little bit of the history, or they knew when to tell a joke, which is opening up another question that I'm going to give you right now. There's a time and a place for certain kinds of jokes. There's a time and a place for certain costumes when you're dancing too, right? You have to be mindful of that.
Exactly.
You can't wear some of the stuff you wear for an adult show for a family show.
No, exactly. Well, if you're dancing in a belly dance show, like for instance, I put on a 3-day belly dance festival. I put this festival on every year.
In February.
Yes, in February.
We're going to talk about that.
Sweetheart Belly Dance Festival and Competition. And I now have a partner who is a master instructor that is from Egypt. He was in the Cairo Ballet as a child, and he now travels the world teaching. And he's come on board with me, and we're putting this festival on together. And in this type of an atmosphere where you're showing up at a belly dance show, you expect to see a certain type of a look. You might expect to see a bedla is what it's called, which is a beaded bra and belt. And you might expect to see a bare abdomen. You might expect to see thighs.
And
you
cleavage.
Might expect to see cleavage. Exactly. The costuming can be much more scant than what you're going to expect to see at the seafood festival.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the first early seafood festivals. I've been doing the seafood festival for 12 years.
Yeah.
And then in the 10th year, I think, is when I brought you in, and then we had a mermaid. And as cute as she was very scantily dressed as a mermaid.
Yes.
And I didn't give it any thought at the time until the seafood festival representatives came over and said, you have to remove her. She can't be here. And they were absolutely right. I didn't give it any thought, and I do give it thought constantly. I always do. It is one of the things that you have to worry about when you're doing an event.
Exactly. And
perception.
In dance, we have different regions that we represent with different types of costuming, different types of music, different types of props, and that's where the educational part of it comes in, because you don't want to wear a full skirt and dance to music from the Said region, for instance, or dance with a tambourine to music that is more reflective of Rax Asaya, which is a stick or a cane, or a dance that can be lighthearted and fun, but also represent war. So you need to understand what you're dancing to and what you're representing, because you don't want to inadvertently offend another culture, another region, and you never know who's watching you.
No, you never know who's watching.
So you should never underestimate your audience.
And it's one of the reasons that you know this, because we've been friends since I started doing pirating in 2007. So we've been friends since 2008. You know that the biggest thing that I have a problem with is that I have no problem with people wanting to be pirates. I do have a problem with people that want to be pirates because they think being a pirate means they can tell bad jokes in public, they can be ugly and stupid and do silly things and don't understand anything about the history. And the history is important because you do not know who's going to be in town. I'm going to use a perfect example in my situation. It was a day that was a very rough day, and we deal with tourists a lot. And sometimes at the end of the day, don't have anything nice to say about tourists, but you still have to be nice to them because it's the bread and butter of everything in St. Augustine. And I'm just about to the parking garage, and a family stops me and wants to take pictures with me. And it's like a husband and a wife and 3 kids. And it's like, Okay, let's take us a picture. Go ahead. And we take pictures, and I do a couple of magic tricks with the kids, and I have a good time, and they thank me, and then they move on. And several weeks later, I get a message from the mayor of the city. He had gotten a letter from the mayor of another city. The mayor of that other city was the family that I had stopped and done pictures with, and he wanted to let the mayor and the city know that, because, and this is the other side of it, everybody thinks that all the costume characters downtown work for the city. No, none of us do. But he wanted to let the mayor and the council know that this man, who was me, and that was probably in 2009. And so I was recognized by the town council as being a good representative of the city. So you never know who's going to be down there and who you're going to say something to. And if you don't pay attention to what you're saying. And the other part of it is this, as far as pirates are concerned, nobody went around bragging that they were pirates. It was kind of a secret. So, but you have to be careful with what you wear what you wear.
Absolutely.
You have to be careful for what you say.
It comes with education and knowledge.
And the understanding that it's historical in background. And that's the most important part. It's historical in background. And as this show always leans towards, we always lean towards history in some way, shape, or form. We always lean towards history.
And all the pirates are important, and all of the dancers are important. I feel like in dance, if we don't have baby beginner dancers and we don't have teachers or new teachers that are sharing our craft, then we don't have a community. You need to have people that are continuously investing in the subculture, whether it's pirates or whether it's dance or whatever the subculture is. If it's only one person or one group, then we don't have a community. But we need to work together. And if you're going to teach, then become certified, or
which you are.
I am. I'm certified in several different styles of dance.
Certified or certifiable?
Well, a little of both.
Okay, all
but
right.
Certifiable comes later.
Let's see. Timothy Brengard. If I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. Thank you, Captain, for your birthday help for the SeaWolf. So you're very welcome, mate. I hope it turns out well. The kids will be so excited to see you at the Pirate and Mermaid adventure. Gina, we would love it if all the dancers would come and be with the children also.
Of course.
But we'll see what happens.
It's on my calendar.
Aye, very good. So, what is your favorite dance? I'm going to ask it in two ways. Your favorite dance representation or your favorite dance history? And are the two related?
They're totally different.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, I would say my favorite dance experience or presentation was when I was able to dance in Egypt, and we were on the Nile cruise, traveling on the Nile to Aswan, and we were able to dance on the boat. And later in the evening, I just stopped with Nightingale to have a beer and a glass of wine on the ship, and there were some male dancers that had been in the show, and one of them was dancing with the Raksasaya, which is it's the male version is a stick, the female version is a cane, but it's interchangeable. So the dancer came out with a stick and called me up to dance with him, and immediately he recognized that I knew the Saidi and I knew how to work my way around that stick. So we did a very fun dance where we put the stick on our forehead between the two of us, and we danced, and we came all the way down to the floor, and then we put it belly to belly and we danced. So that was amazing. That was an amazing, authentic experience that wasn't planned.
Did he do it to challenge you, or did he do it because he wanted to dance with you?
I think he did it for fun. I think he did it because he knew that I was an American, but I understood the dance style and I knew what was happening.
You know what scene happens in my head now thinking of that?
What?
The West Side Story.
It wasn't like that.
No switchblade or anything, right?
No switchblade.
No, but that went into my head.
Yeah.
West Side Story. But
my favorite style is definitely the group improvisation.
Which you do very well. And we've talked about that.
Yeah.
Because improvisation is primarily everything I do.
Yeah.
And it's very important to be able to do that. And most people
But
can't.
imagine cueing other people to do it with you.
That's tough. That's really tough. It really is.
Yeah.
I've been in that situation where we do that, where we have to do that. One example comes. You've seen me do pirate court.
Yes.
Pirate court depends on the other guy who's playing the other part of the lawyer. We're both lawyers and we have to cue off each other. It's really difficult at times because sometimes something will be said and it just kind of leaves dead space there and you got to think really quick, what do we do? So I've only had two people that I've done enjoyable. I've done it several times, but only two pirates in the community that I've done that kind of improv with, and that would be Oli Mackerel and Gonzo. Those are the only two that I've ever had the enjoyment of knowing that it's going to be a good event.
And they're both amazing.
And they are amazing. They both are very amazing. So I'm sure there are dancers that you have that you know when you can pull them out. It must be a
Well,
ghost.
tomorrow is a great example because I was away tomorrow night. The Kaleidoscope stage show, which is
dare you
hosted by
plan something on my birthday.
Romanza. I'll come see you after. But we haven't really. We did a quick run through. I told the girls what I would like to see them do on the stage, and we had a little bit of a practice, and that's it. So this is a stage show that I'm sure other dancers have been preparing for months. But I'll see my girls in the morning, and we'll finesse it for an hour, and we'll be ready to go.
How many of your girls are going to do this show with you?
I think I have about 12,
Yeah.
but I have my
Is Nightingale one of them?
Nightingale is going to be one of them. Yes, she's going to be dancing with swords on the stage with me as a primary
Wait, you're letting
dancer.
her have a sword?
Yeah, two.
You better be careful.
2 swords.
2 swords, my goodness. Well,
Yes.
one of the things I love about when we set up an agreement to do shows together, one of the things I love is that you incorporate modern music. You use country western music.
Yeah.
You use fusion music.
Well, the style that I'm the most fond of is the group improvisation style, and it's formerly known as American tribal style dance. It's known by different names now because language and words became very sensitive. They became a very sensitive topic for a while.
I never noticed that.
Yeah. So, the dance community has, changed our lingo, to be fluid with the language and not be offensive to others and to be more aware of how it might affect a different culture, like saying American tribal style. That was the verbiage that was used when I learned the style many, many years ago.
So what do they call it now?
They're calling it by the name of the teacher, or they're calling it transnational fusion. Or
So we could be
fusion.
hearing things like, "We're going to dance the Miss Gina style of dancing."
Yeah, exactly. So it's just odd to change your language, but it's like using the word gypsy. That's a word that's was always commonly used for many, many, many years by many different people.
What, the word gypsy has become?
It's been a sensitive topic.
Really?
Oh yeah.
It's a historical word.
It's some Romani people are very offended by the use of the word gypsy.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
It's akin to the N word.
Really?
For some people.
For some cultures.
Yes.
Wow.
For some people. And
Well, I
I've
understand that because here's a word that I'm proud to wear. I love it when people get upset with me and want to be racist and then call me a cracker. I love it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it because you're native Floridian too,
Yeah.
and you know what it means. Most people don't understand, and Floridians know. Crackers were the cowboys of the turn of the century,
Yeah.
1900s, and they were called crackers because they used whips to keep the crack of the whip was to keep the cows in line when they did
Yeah.
cattle drives.
Yeah.
So we're called crackers. Crackers are cowboys, or Florida cowboys. So when people call me a cracker, I just look at them and go, "Yep, every time."
Yeah.
Go back to my grandfather, my great grandfather. So yeah, it's interesting that words should not hurt people. That's the worst part. That's my philosophy. Words should not hurt people. The infusion of the emotion to the words might be a different story. It
Yeah.
might be something that could hurt people, but
One of my original student troops was the Indigo Gypsies. That was the name of one of my student troops. And when I started doing I've heard the scuttle on the word gypsy for many, many, many years. And I kind of felt like at the time, I don't think it's a hurtful word. I don't have that sort of a view of that word. I just think of it as a free-spirited person, and I think of my dancers as free-spirited gypsies. However, I had a couple of students that were of Brahmini descent, and I had a discussion with them about that word and asked them how they felt about it. And when I got the feedback, I decided it wasn't worth it. It was just a word. So I let it go and I changed the name of the troop because I don't want to be offensive to anyone. And if it is akin to some other very ugly words, it's just a word. I don't need to use it. So it's the same with the word tribal. There are groups of American Indians that are striving to become recognized as a tribe, and then here come dancers that are calling themselves tribal, or this is my tribe. So I can wrap my head around that. I understand it. So I still use the word tribal in my lingo. It's very difficult to change verbiage that you've been using for 30 years.
True. Yeah.
So, but the community as a whole is trying to correct itself and not be offensive and be more.
Well, I'll give you another example. It hasn't hit yet, but it does in as far as my background is concerned. I love it when I have people that they're dressed as a pirate, and I go, hey, "You want to be a part of a crew?" "Oh no, I don't want to be a part of anybody's crew." Well, then you're not a pirate.
Yeah.
If you were not part of a crew, you weren't a pirate. You were a solo, maybe a mercenary, or a one that would hire out his sword to whatever, but you're not a pirate. Pirates are men that are part of the crew, and or women in some cases. You're part of a crew. If you're not part of a crew, there's two reasons you're not part of a crew. One, because you chose to be not part of a crew, or two, because they didn't accept you to be part of a crew, which means you're not a pirate. Mm-hmm. So I love it when people say, "Oh, I'm just going to do it on my own." Well, then you're not a pirate. You can go around and come up with some other word, but historically, you're not a pirate. So I understand that the same connotation has to gypsy. We think of gypsies overall as a bunch of free-willed. I mean, you could, if you really wanted to take it to a second step, although I'm sure this word's going to hurt people's feelings too, but you could use gypsy and hippie in the same context. But some people don't want to be called hippies
No,
either.
they do not, and they don't want those words connected either.
No, of course they don't.
So,
but to the general population, the general purpose of people thinking, and that generalization of the way we think of things. See, and we're going off on a tangent here,
yeah,
but that's
rabbit
okay.
hole.
We are. But the generalization of the way people think is why things are changing the way they are. There are two words in the English language that I do not appreciate. I do not appreciate anybody using, and I will not use in my language in any way, shape, or form. And one of them you already said, the N word. I do not appreciate that word. I don't appreciate it, never appreciated it, and I don't like the C word. But the really silly part of it is that if you're in England or Scotland or Ireland, the C word is okay because it has a different meaning. It's also the same thing as the word fag. In the English countries, England, Britain, Ireland, Scotland, it's a cigarette.
Right.
But it's not here.
You have to educate yourself
so you have
on
to
the
educate.
language.
You do. You have to educate yourself on not just the language, but the meaning of the words.
Yes.
And you have to know when is the proper time to use it.
Absolutely.
Because you have to know when the proper time to tell a joke, the proper time to use the language. It's not that I tell people in my tours now, more so than anything else, if I tell you things that you don't agree with or you don't like, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to fight with you. And there's only one reason why I'm okay with that. We live in the greatest country in the world. You're entitled to your voice, your words, your thoughts, and your opinions, and nobody should take it away from you. You have that right. But you don't have the right to be violent with me because I do something you don't like. If you don't agree with me, we should chat about it. We should talk about it, and we come to a median about it. But you don't hate people for saying something you don't like. You don't kill people for saying something you don't like. You have to have a conversation. And the idea of a conversation needs to be incorporated in, see, I'm bringing this back around now. It needs to be incorporated in everything we do as entertainers. Because if you go and entertain this group of people, where you're going to dress for a specific group of people, you can't wear the same clothing 2 hours later for this group of people.
Yeah.
So it's you, and I know I'm talking a lot and I shouldn't be, because I should let my guests talk, but we have the same issues. We have the same challenges. We have cried on each other's shoulders over some of those challenges.
Yeah.
You are my biggest friend, supporter, and fan. And I hope it's the same way, both sides.
Absolutely.
Because we have a professional courtesy. I would never put you in a situation in one of my shows that turns out bad. Never. Well, we've had discussions about certain things.
Yeah, but nothing's ever gone bad.
Nothing ever goes
because
bad.
we always roll with it.
We roll with it. And
whatever
we know how to do it.
happens, we handle it. So that's what you have to do as a professional, you know. And as far as the language goes, there's people that they just don't care. That's their attitude, and that's, you're right. If you just don't care,
absolutely,
and
it's their right.
you're of a Romani descent, and you say that the word gypsy doesn't bother you, then that's your opinion. It does bother me, though. It bothers me that I'm using a word that is offensive. So I don't mind changing it. So it's just a matter of educating, though. Just educate yourself on the verbiage that you're using, on what you're representing, on what your costume is, the styles, the musicality, you know, all of the words to songs that are in a different language that you know. You better know what you're dancing to.
So you would dance. So let's take your sword dance. Your sword dance is Egyptian?
No.
Okay, so educate me now.
It is, well, the type of sword. First of all,
you're using scimitars.
The sword is, first of all, it's a weapon. So in my genre, I consider the sword a weapon. I am dancing with a weapon. So a weapon that represents many different things to many different people and cultures, including religious, including war, and including entertainment. Pure entertainment value is pretty much what I'm shooting for with my weapon. However, it is still a weapon. So we have to think about the music that we're dancing to when we present this weapon. So our whole attitude needs to change. If I'm doing a drum solo with lots of cheeky shimmies and a big smile on my face, that's fine for one piece of music. But if I'm dancing with a sword, doing this is not going to have the same effect. Sure. So we have to change. I think that's what you're asking me.
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
We have to change our personality, our facial expression, our musicality needs to change.
You have to change your stage persona.
Absolutely.
And by just what I showed everybody tonight earlier in the show, all those different pictures of me doing different things as an entertainer, a gunfighter or a pirate or a Vegas entertainer, you change your personality, you change your persona. Is that one of your students? Put that back up there, David. We didn't
That's
see.
Miss Gina.
Oh, that's me.
Is that you?
Yep.
With the swords.
That's in Flagler Beach.
So is that sword considered a scimitar?
Yes.
Yes. So a scimitar has roots in several Middle Eastern countries.
Well, the scimitar is kind of a modern invention when it comes to dance. Historically,
to dance, but not to history.
No, not to history. Right. And there's many different types of swords, as we know, right? True. There's cutlass, there's scimitar, there's all different types of.
Oh, I've got glasses on. I can
broadsword. There's all different. That's two scimitars, which that's my weapon of choice that I'd like to perform with, and that's what I train my dancers to perform with. Historically speaking, in Egyptian dance, there would have been no dancing with swords. The sword came into play, we believe, because of a result of Orientalism and the way that the Middle East was portrayed by artists. So a lot of the renditions of dancers may have just been fantasy driven. There may have been a dancer, a woman, maybe not even a dancer, but a woman that picked up a sword and played with it in some way. There were a few dances with swords in the Middle East, but they came much later. Women would not have been dancing with swords.
The way culture is, women would not have been actually considered to have contact with weapons of any type most of the time.
Exactly.
Yes.
So the same with the veil. There's other props that we use today that, like, historically speaking, they probably would not have been used. You know, there's depictions of dancers that are topless, for instance. That probably would not have happened. There probably would have not been an artist in the harem, and the women in the harem would have probably not been posing for them. And that created the whole hoochie coochie view of a beautiful art form of Middle Eastern dance. So it's something that was a folkloric, historical dance, was viewed as, they literally called it a hoochie coochie dance. But if you think about
that would be turn of the century,
when
1900s.
the Orientalist period came about and when these paintings would have surfaced in the Victorian era, those women would have been corseted up with every inch of their arms and legs covered. So any woman that was not wearing a corset or was moving her torso in the way that a dancer would have moved her torso if she had been seen in a show like the Chicago World's Fair, for instance, in the 1890s, would have been considered very risque, very inappropriate.
And they almost shut down the World's Fair in Chicago because of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a piece of history that I have read about. So it brings.
But they were exploited.
True.
Yes. Now, some of those women may have posed for those paintings for money, though.
Of course they
So
did.
we don't really know for sure.
It also
because
brings
they were desperate.
It also brings to light one other thing that people don't understand. If you look at the paintings of certain time frames, what we think about as women being slender and slight, Victoria's Secret models, and those women would have been looked upon by most men as unhealthy and you didn't want
Well,
them.
that's true. And I have a funny little tidbit for you.
Go ahead.
So we have a shimmy that's called a 3/4 shimmy, and the hips sway from side to side. So what I have learned through my studies is that if a woman was very slender and tiny back in the day, she wanted the same bounce of her hips that a heavier woman who would have been well fed and healthier, she wanted her hips to move and bounce in the same way. So they created this shimmy.
Wow.
So because she wanted the wiggle.
And women back then were called Rubenesque.
Yes.
I mean, and if you look at the time frame of certain things, certain time frames, the size of women or the body makeup,
the ideal of beauty,
yes,
continually changes.
it changes, constantly changes. I think it's swaying back to women that have a little bit more on their bodies now.
Yes.
From things that I've seen.
As it should.
As it should.
I think that all bodies should be accepted.
Well,
So,
that's true.
belly dancing is a style of dance that is welcoming for all body types. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter your size.
So I'll go out on a limb and say this. And any of
Here
you,
we go.
yeah, any of your
Here we
ladies that
go.
are watching, but I'm good for that,
When he
right?
says I'm going to go out on a limb,
I'm
I know
good
what
for that.
means.
You have ladies of all shapes and sizes in your crew.
Yes.
And in my opinion, watching them all dance and seeing them enjoy themselves and seeing them smile and look at the crowd, I don't see a whole difference in my enjoyment of it. I'm really trying to make sure I choose my words. There's no difference of enjoyment for me when I see one of your girls over one of your other girls. I see all your girls, doesn't matter how they are, how they're built. I enjoy seeing what they do and enjoying the idea that they all feel good about themselves, which is probably one of the wonderful points about what you teach. And so I enjoy that. I truly do. And it's so I'm going to equate it to this. When you meet people, it doesn't matter who it is, all bodies are beautiful. Thank you, Donna. Yes, you're absolutely right. When you meet people, those people that have intelligence, when they meet people and enjoy people based on their personality, their levels of confidence, their levels of intellect. Many of us don't base it based on what you look like. We base it on our interaction with people. And the girls in your troop do a wonderful job of interacting with the crowds that we bring to us, the groups that we bring to us. Some of them should still smile, but that's what I wasn't going to mention any names whatsoever. So if you got me in trouble with her, I'm going to be mad at you. But overall, this is everything about what you teach and what you do.
Yeah.
Is the acceptance and the education of a true art form.
Indeed. And it's it's the director, the captain's responsibility to also make sure that you're putting your dancers in a place where people will understand what they're there for. That's where you don't want to put a dancer in a situation where maybe the audience has an expectation of a certain look.
So you're mindful of that then?
Oh, I'm very mindful of it. Even at my age, there's some things that I'm probably not going to do. As a matter of fact, I will not do. And I will call upon another dancer in my community. Sometimes I call upon people that I've trained, but they didn't want the troop dynamic. They want to be a professional belly dancer. They want to work in the restaurant circuit.
So you have to know your limitations? You have to know the limitations of your crew.
Exactly. You have to know where you're putting your dancers and what I protect my dancers. So I'm not going to put my dancers in a situation where the audience has a certain expectation of a certain look or a certain style or a certain costuming or a certain level. You have to be very diligent about that, or the audience can have a bad experience and the dancer can have a bad experience. And even in the best case scenario, when you try to do everything as best that you can, still sometimes things happen. We always have mishaps with performing. You have to be able to handle it.
It happens. You have to. I'm always protective of my crew. I never want to put my crew in any way, shape, or form in bad situations. Sometimes you can't help it because people have an expectation of pirates or dancers. And you'll get, I'm sure, like the dancers, you'll get catcalls and ugly comments from drunk guys in the crowd.
That's what I mean. You have to know, you have to make sure that the person that you're sending to a gig can handle certain things in certain atmospheres. And the other thing that's very important to me is not misrepresenting myself or the culture. So that's why I have different names. I have Ancient City Sirens, and I have Blue Lotus World Dance, because I'm a serious dancer.
You guys didn't see the look she gave me when she said Ancient City Sirens. She gave me a look.
I'm very serious about my dance, about my teaching and my learning and my events that are geared towards Middle Eastern dance and belly dance. But I also like to do fusion. I like to have fun. I like to do Spanish fusion. I like to do Celtic fusion. I like to do different styles of dance and train the dancers on how to perform at different events. So that's what Ancient City Sirens is for. I'm not going to put on that's Ancient City Sirens lady crew material.
And the powder monkey getting involved.
But I wouldn't want to have that outfit on with powder monkey and call myself a Middle Eastern dancer.
Right.
That's misrepresenting yourself in the art form. That's not okay, and it's unprofessional.
Every bit of it's totally understandable, because as the leader of a group, you have to be mindful of all these things. And we'll close this by saying this, that I'm going to give you the last word, then we'll go on with some of the other things. As a leader, you have to be mindful of everything you can possibly think of that's going to come in against your crew, against your people. You can't think of it all, but it'll drive you crazy thinking of it. And you have to be protective. But once in a while, things will sit through. And what do? You just roll with it. That's why you and many of your girls, they're very good improv. They're ready to change. They're ready to work with whatever happens, and they make the professional courtesy and respect we have has been strong for all these years. And we've lost friends. We've had people that have moved away from us because of their eccentricities and their biased ideas on how things work. And the fact that some people think that, oh, I can put on a pirate outfit, or I can put on a dance outfit, and I can do this. And they don't understand that there's a lot of work that goes into all of it. And that's why we're still successful. And it's why a few more years down the road, I can sit back and go, I'm just going to have fun.
Can I make a comment, Captain?
Absolutely. You know you can.
As you know, I've done a lot of, aside from our crew, I've done a lot of sound and stuff. I do events for Miss Gina. And her dancers, it's like a family, and it goes both ways. I'm there and I have their backs, but there's been times when those ladies have also had my backs. They're
Right.
just as protective. It's a nice, it's a family. That's one of the neatest things.
It is. And without going too far, much further down the rabbit hole, when you have friends and trusted people that you want to work with, you share their hurts also. You share their disappointments. You understand their issues, and you commiserate at times, and make sure that you have the backing of those people that you trust. As far as dancers are concerned, as far as dance troupes, there's only one other dance troupe that and you know them, that I trust to be always professional, and that's the tap dancers. You work amazing with them; they're amazing. Yes.
Noise complaint.
Thank you. I had noise in my head. I couldn't think of it.
Jenny
and noise complaint, and she's been on the show before, and they are professional all the time, and they develop their shows based on the genre of the event, and they pay attention. But there are so many people that, I need pirates. Well, they show up and drink the house down and then act like knuckleheads. There are other dance troupes that show up and they're dressed inappropriately for a family show, and they don't pay attention, and they're okay with that. For events that you and I do, we're not okay for that. And we have to be professionally aware, professionally courteous, and professionally, there's a third category there, professionally cognizant of everything we do, as protective, not just to ourselves, but to what we're doing and to the people that we're doing it with.
Exactly.
It's very important. And a lot of people don't understand. You can say, I'm going to do an event, but the minute you say you're going to do an event, all the time, from the time you say that to the event is important, but also after the event is important. So you've got three parts: up to the event, during the event, after the event. All three of those parts you're still responsible for. A lot of people don't take that responsibility seriously. So upon that note, Davey, let's just go ahead and pop in this week in history, and then we'll go on with the rest of it. All right?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Sponsored by.
Okay. Dick's
Try to get
Wing,
them.
which I actually have one of their menus right here somewhere. Let me see. Oh, I don't see it. There it is. Dick's Wings. That's one of their menus right there. They've got a new lunch menu now, and they're bragging about some great prices for burgers and hot dogs. If you haven't had a good lunch at Dick's Wings, then you need to go down there. There are ones out here by the shores. My good friends over there. I just had lunch there with my quartermaster, Mr. Leon. We had a good time, a couple of beers and some good food. You need to do the same. Go support Dick's Wings and let them know that you are part of the podcast. Upon that note, Dick's Wings presents to you This Week in History.
Welcome to This Week in History, sponsored by our good friends at Dick's Wings Bar and Grill. Wings, salads, wraps, quesadillas, and more. No matter what your taste buds crave, they've got you covered. We begin this week in history in the year 1768. John Hancock pays duties on 25 pipes of wine, only 1/4 of his ship's carrying capacity. British officials accuse him of unloading the rest during the night to avoid paying duties on the entire cargo. 1835, James Gordon Bennett Sr. publishes the first issue of the New York Herald. Price 1 cent. 1837, U.S. blacksmith John Deere creates the first steel plow in Grand Detour, Illinois. 1851, Linus Yale Jr. patents the Yale cylinder lock. 1869, Golden Spike driven, completing the first U.S. transcontinental railroad at Promontory Summit, Utah, and connecting the Central Pacific Railroad with the Union Pacific. 1941, U.S. President Woodrow Wilson proclaims Mother's Day. Also in 1941, at California's March Field, Bob Hope performs his first USO show. And also 1941, Glenn Miller records Chattanooga Choo Choo for RCA. It becomes first record to be designated gold. 1958, classic Hammer horror film Dracula, film starring Christopher Lee as the vampire alongside Peter Cushing, directed by Terence Fisher, released. 1958, U.S. Vice President Richard Nixon is shoved, stoned, booed, and spat upon by protesters in Peru. 1959, Little Caesars Pizza is founded by Mike Ilitch and his wife, Marion Ilitch, in Garden City, Michigan. 1960, U.S. President Eisenhower signs Civil Rights Act of 1960. 1992, Salem Village Witchcraft Victims Memorial, dedicated in Danvers, formerly Salem Village, to mark 300-year anniversary of trials. And finally, in 2011, Pirates of the Caribbean, On Stranger Tides, directed by Rob Marshall, starring Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz, premieres, and opening weekend makes $350.6 million. And that was This Week in History.
Great job, Davey, as always.
Yay!
I like the part about Bob Hope. Bob Hope was a icon in the industry for entertainment, especially for all the troops in the Vietnam War and all the other wars since, and has started something for the USO, that's for sure. On that note, personal posts and ideas, normally supported by Marco's Pizza. I don't really have anything tonight. Things have been really good. I'm working on some new directions for the show, only after I get to talk to my navigator and to my cartographer. Mandy Jo didn't make it to the show tonight, but she's out in Utah, so she can't always make it. She will be joining me and the 13, 14, 15 other crew members of the Swashbucklers on a Carnival cruise ride on the last week of May. We are going on the Mardi Gras, the biggest ship they have, and I'm still looking at all the things I get to do. So we'll see what happens. Upon that note, guests on deck. Well, let's see. July 8th would be the birth of Superman. We have some other guests, but we're trying to figure out what's going on with what guests we have, including the sheriff is going to be on board. And we've got a couple of authors that would like to bring their books on board and talk about their books. So we'll bring them on board and change this future guests on the horizon banner by next week. We're working on a couple of new segments too, so let's see what happens. Joke of the week, the reveal would be very important to hear. I'm sure Davey thinks it's funny. Again, sponsored by Salt City Comics. The ones that, hey, put our comics up there. Put our characters up there. Can you do that real fast? This is Davey. He always thinks I drink too much rum. That's Mandy Jo. She thinks I'm losing it. That's Hellfire Henley. He's always up for another rum shot with the captain. And that's me. And I'll always drink to that. In fact, I have a drink in my hand. Cheers to everybody. It is my birthday, by the way. Well, it's not my birthday until a couple more hours, but cheers to everyone. Davey, I should have looked at all the messages that came in. I was so engrossed in everything else that was going on. Should we do a quick look at everything that we've got through the messages and see what we have? I'll go all the way back.
There's a lot, and
There
quite
is.
a few
We have a
people
lot of
answered what the question was.
Well, let's do that then. Let us do that to close out the show. Let's see here. I see Zachary Harker, ahoy from Michigan. Let's see. I can do the show into this. Thankful to be home after 4-day 18th century colonial reenactment. Rain and storms. Well, guess what? It rains and storms here in Florida too, and I always have pirates asking, "Hey, it's going to rain. What do we do?" I just tell them you're a pirate. Live with it. Let's see. I saw Patience is in there. Let's see. Oh, there it is. It's screwing with me there. Can't wait. I know it's going to be another amazing show. Thank you, Patience. We love having you there. There's my son, Will the historian. Yo ho, and a bottle of rum. He made it. And if I didn't mention it enough, his soccer team from his school took all the honors. There's Ransom Mayhem from Panama City. We'll be visiting with them and being a part of their event in October. You should actually finally decide to come out for that. I tried to get her to come out for many years, so we'll see what happens.
I went last year.
Yeah, but I don't remember seeing
Ed
you
was
out there.
sick.
I know, Ed was sick. That's right. Well, don't bring him next time.
I got the bird double.
All right, there's Sky Jockey saying hello to everybody. That's good to see. And Jim is there. Somehow I imagine your favorite song in high school would have been either Disco Duck or My Ding-a-Ling. Actually, no, I'm not going to tell you what my favorite song is. I'm going to leave it alone. Nightingale and Disco Duck. You know that he did also another song called Disco Rilla, but it didn't do very well. Jim, I've seen him dance to Disco Duck. Stop it.
Uh-oh.
Leave it alone. I probably have. Kara, please tell me you have a picture or video evidence. My son does not need to see that. Thanks for the visual. Yes. I see a new name here. Gene Stewart. Hello, Gene.
One of my students.
Is it one of your students? Good. I hope that you will like us and subscribe and stay with us and watch us once in a while. I see Black Sails Adventures. So I'm looking, if they're still watching, tell me, have you made any progress on your move to Florida? Totally interested in finding out what we're going to be able to do together. There's Patience. Love having Patience watch our show and be a part of it. She's a great person to be around, and she knows a lot about makeup and artwork.
She does.
Yeah, she is. Very good. Let's see. Zachary said he hugged a nurse today. Very good. So I've hugged one nurse. I'm going to be hugging nurses all day for the next 5 or 6 days, I think. Thank you for the hug, Captain. You'll get one this weekend. Black Sails, one more time. Happy birthday. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Another happy birthday there. I'm just going to show those off because it's my birthday.
Yeah.
It's
if
my
you can,
birthday.
It's your birthday.
I did a regular beverage, Diet Pepsi. Happiest birthdays. May the year bring you joy beyond measure and dreams fulfilled. Thank you very much. That's a nice way to put it. I appreciate that. Let's see what else we have here. Favorite beverage, beer, of course, but not any beer. Nightingale, I don't know that I recalled seeing you drink beer.
Shock top.
Shock top, that's right. She does drink shock
She's a
top.
shock
My
top.
bad. My bad.
I've seen her drink a lot.
Tomorrow is National Teacher Appreciation Day.
Yay.
All right, Donna, I'll give you a hug on Saturday for being a teacher. There you go. Nightingale, hope you have a great birthday tomorrow. Believe it or not, I got a lot of work to do, but then I'm going out tomorrow evening to the Colonial Oak because there's a party for the employees of our group and the UNF to start
Nice.
off Historic Week. And I know a couple of other, like Leon and Steve and a few others are going to be there too. And then we're going to go have a drink somewhere. When are you done tomorrow night?
Late.
Late?
Yeah.
I don't know how long it'll last.
After 10.
All right, we'll see. Will the historian, come on down here. Let's get that out of the way. I know, let's see. I know that one and it's autographed. Yes, very good. I didn't show you that one. A badass photo. Thank you very much. Let's see. I'm winding down. I see Wendy.
Hi, Wendy.
Is that one of your students?
Yes.
Very good. I hope you like and follow us once in a while and follow some of our show. I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope all the students that were here watching in favor of Gina and supported Gina will watch our show a little more often.
Hey.
Don't be a stranger. I know you do classes on Mondays normally.
I do.
Yes. Well, what you need to do is just set up a TV at your studio.
Then we would just drink rum.
And that, well, what's wrong with that? Right. Jim says, Nightingale, have you tried Modelo Negra? I like Modelo Negra. And Nightingale, Blue Moon imported any good German beer. Hate to tell you this, but I don't think Blue Moon is imported German beer, but we'll talk about that. Love the blue one. Let's see. Modelo Negra is just the Schlitz dark draft we used to get growing up. that would be referred to there, Jim, as Schlitz malt liquor.
Yep.
If you remember, Schlitz malt liquor, and I know that because my uncle Jim Barnes here in St. Augustine was the distributor for it. You remember that?
I remember
It
it.
was good beer.
In Mad Dog 2020.
And yeah, and you drank them together, right? Let's see what this one
You
is.
had to.
How did you and Kara meet? Well, I think we answered that, but I'll reiterate. We met at she was a waitress, a redheaded waitress. I have a problem with redheads. They are they're like kryptonite to me and Superman. And I used to hang out at this place, a social dance club. We'll just put it at that. Let's see.
And you made her sushi.
I made her sushi. That's right.
I
Our
know
first
the
date.
story.
Only two kinds of drink I like are those I pay for and those that are free.
That covers all of them.
That does cover them all. Let's see. I got a picture of an artist drew for you as a mad magician. So I got to ask you, son, do you have that hanging on your wall anywhere, scaring you on Halloween? I thought I had that picture, but I'll have to bring it up next week. Was going to send over a cake and candles. We read that one, but forestry wouldn't give me a burn permit. Yeah, right, Jim. You're older than I am. Hey, John Wasco is on board. Nice to see him. He says hello to Gina. I hope you stayed for the whole show.
Hey, John.
I think this is another one of your girls.
Susan. Hey, one of my students. Hey, Susan.
If you girls that are part of Gina's crew don't stop and be a part of my show, I'm going to come hunt you down. So let's see. So is a pirate Harley in the works for your birthday?
Ooh.
No.
My wife says no. Harleys are not allowed. But as much as I'd like, and Jim and my wife says no more bikes. Dangerous. She knows. I've had 2 bikes in my past. I've wrecked both of them. Not because I'm a bad driver, but because, well, we'll leave it at that.
Leave it alone.
Why? Way better, Kara. Thank you. Okay, good. Let's see. I see patients. I see Sarah's on board. Hello, Sarah. Hope
Hey,
you're still there. Thank you
Sarah.
for the birthday. She's a member. Kara wants a T-shirt. Of course she does. I'm going to be buying that for her. I hope many of you will buy our T-shirts. Cut right to the point. I always cut to the point if I can. There is a good friend of ours, a new one watching our show. They said, eunuchs, keep the knife away.
Oh, yeah.
Don't cut anything. You're absolutely right. I love going through these comments and making sure I acknowledge everybody that's part of the show. Blue Lotus will be dancing in the gazebo downtown between 12 and 2. Don't miss it.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't say that, did we?
I thought we did.
I thought we did.
She's helping us.
Yeah, she's helping
Making
us.
sure to get the word out.
All right, let's see what else she says. You want to learn belly dance? Gina is a great teacher. Of course she is. Donna, Gina is an amazing dancer and a friend. You missed the word great, but I'll let it go. Let's see. Yep, an agreement. Fish oil Omega.
It's
You
true.
know what? I'm going to run out and buy some tomorrow.
It's true.
And I'm going to drink it with rum. Yes.
That kind of counters it, though.
Yes, it does. I think we saw this one. Yeah, Gina, Patience made a great comment to
Thank
Gina.
you.
Very good. Will sure help one lose weight.
Yes, it does help.
It does.
It does.
Well, it is. It's physical and cardiovascular, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So it is good.
Flexibility.
Maybe I should go ahead and shimmy.
Cardio.
Maybe I'll show up at your class one night and shimmy.
Come on over.
That's how we'll
I'll
start.
kick your butt. It was shimmying.
Ed just shouted out from the poker area over there that he lost his weight by shimmying. I think it still had something to do with spade and neutering. Excellent point. The benefits of dance. Yeah. You're loving and protective and supportive of your dancers. Phenomenal. Not just a person, but her skill level is beyond description. Come see the fun. Everybody that shows up at the fundraiser on Saturday, I'm going to give Gina some something to allow you to come to the Pirate Museum.
Sweet. Yay.
We'll figure it out. So no Seinfeld Elaine's dance.
Oh, boy.
On that note, I'm going to pour me another rum. Gina, do you need one?
I might as well.
Yeah, might as well. A little bit. There's a little for you and a little for me. I love it when our shows go overtime.
Elaine dance.
Yeah, Elaine dance. I like references to our past. It's always nice that people are paying attention. Couldn't agree with you more, Patience. Well, that's good. So Timothy, he says, thank you for the birthday help for the Seawolves. If you didn't catch it, because you might have come into the show later, if you are wanting to celebrate my birthday, make a donation. It's on my Facebook page to the Seawolf Privateers. They are a good group, and I have a whole lot of respect for Captain Scabbard and his better half, Miss Katie.
Palm Coast.
Palm Coast is the Egyptian version of pole dancing.
There's no Egyptian version of pole dancing.
Well, why would anybody? Never mind. I was going to say something really bad here. I'm going to leave it alone. The stick dance you did with the dancer was amazing. So Nightingale was there. Were there any
She
pictures
was.
or video?
Yeah, I have video.
Really? We're going to have to see that sometime.
Nightingale took
Really?
it. Yeah.
Here's a new name. Ex-Coasters. I met him. Who did you meet? I don't know who this is. Bucko.
Bucko.
I met him 2 weeks ago. I hope that's... Oh, there's Bo. Takes pictures and photographs for Parlay 8. My friends Deborah and Jay Russo. They have a podcast also. And we're at our pirate event in February, and we'll be back again this February coming up. At least now that I've said that, they're hemmed into having to do it.
Lock them in.
Lock them in. Don't have a smile as much when dancing with the sword.
True. It's true.
I'll give you that. All right, Nightingale, I'll give you that one. I like what Donna said. The next comment, all bodies are beautiful.
Yes.
Absolutely. Let's see, Jim said something else. During the Victorian age, America was still rural. A farmer needed a wife who could bear many children. It was free labor of the day. It also meant that, well, I'll leave it at that. The children were free labor, of course. That's why families had 5, 6, 8, 12 children. It was free labor. Have a phenomenal voyage. Oh, that must be in reference to our cruise. I see another name I don't recognize now. Scarmonte Danielle is another one of yours?
Yes.
To your health and happy birthday. Thank you very much, love.
Scarmonte.
I hope that your girls, that's 4 girls at least, not including Nightingale and not including Patience. So that's 6 girls.
Yeah.
If you at least liked us and hit the bell, I'll be happy with you. We'll know here in a few minutes. Jim says, not the malt liquor at all. It was only on draft. I don't remember it being on draft, but I'm going to have to go back and do some checking. Blue Moon is my favorite domestic beer. Otherwise, enjoy a good imported German beer. That's what you meant. Okay. We'll let you go with that. M. I don't know what M is. I should take over Gene Therapy Dance Machine.
Gene the Dance Machine.
Gene the Dance Machine. That was on the Gong Show.
The Gong Show.
Right.
I remember that.
Yep. I remember that too. Let's see. I have an extra hip scarf to loan you, Captain. It better be a very big hip scarf. I got to tell you that. And we're down to the last one. I ordered my skirt via Venmo. Very good. All right. So we've reached the end. Davey, give us our thank you vid.
No, we haven't got the answer to joke of the week.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought we did.
No, you
Dan.
wanted to do the comments first.
Yep. All right. Dance of the week. Go ahead.
Okay, it's time for the answer to the joke of the week. What did the pirate plumber always tell customers? The answer is, fear not if ye see the Kraken.
Miss Gina's laughing.
That was a cute one.
I don't want to see anybody's cracking. Gosh, that's terrible. All right. Give me the thank you video.
All right.
The Captain's Quarters podcast is indeed a ship sailing the seas of the world, always in search of history, knowledge, and adventure. It takes a crew to run a ship, so we take this opportunity to thank those who help keep this ship afloat.
The cast and crew: Captain William Mayhem, Navigator Davy Longwood, Gunner Hellfire Henley, Cartographer Mandy Joe, the Powder Monkey, and Juan Cam.
Helping others gives a crew purpose. Our treasured charities that we support: Inc., investing in kids; the Humane Society of St. Johns County; Alia's Acres, a no-kill animal rescue zone; and the Cadets of the St. Johns County Fire Department. The 4 major charities that we support, but there's always room for more.
You too can be part of the crew and support the show in many ways. Go to Patreon. A small monthly contribution as Powder Monkey or First Mate memberships, or a single contribution. PayPal or Venmo. Go to YouTube. Hit the like and follow buttons to join our ranks and support the show. It does take a crew. Thank you.
Good job, Davey. Always good job. What are our platforms? You can watch us every night live on YouTube. You can also watch us on our Facebook channel too. But then once the show is over, it downloads to Spotify and Instagram. Although Instagram has given us some really strange messages lately,
Yes.
aren't they, Davey?
Yes, they are.
So don't worry about Instagram so much as Spotify, but you can listen to us on Stitcher, iHeart, Castbox, Apple Podcast, and Music Amazon. So we're on all these channels, and we're trying to expand to other channels so everybody can get us. We have some great numbers. Was Mandy able to give us the a video?
Of course, she always at least does that.
Well, that's good. Let's show it.
Sweet.
Darn, our numbers are almost to 1565. Almost. On that note, we've shown our numbers on our platforms. Give us there it is. I don't even have to ask. Davey's already got it. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't do the show without all of you, but I always like to make sure our guests get gifts. So this time, because Gina has been such a good follower, she gets to keep her shot glass. It has William Mayhem on it. She gets to keep that.
Fancy.
But she gets a new coin.
Yay.
And I'm going to give her one of these. There's a treasure chest on it. It's a gold coin with a treasure chest because in my life and in my work, Gina is one of my biggest treasures.
Aw, thank you.
So she gets that coin also. And she is always going to be a part. We were just talking during one of the silent parts. She was our second guest when we first started 133 episodes ago. So,
yeah.
And you've been on 3 times now.
Yeah, thanks for having me back.
We always love having you here. So if there is nothing else to talk about, Davey, I guess we just have to do the sound off on our own.
Yeah. Part of the podcast.
Part of the crew. Always. Can't do it without any of you. We need you to be there because otherwise it's just us talking to dead air. All of those from Gina's crew that are watching us, please keep on with us. You never know what we might be offering to all of you. Remember our t-shirt deal. Pop that up there real quick, Davey, if you can. Everybody that buys a t-shirt, we're giving money to the Humane Society, like us and the Blue Lotus dancers. We like to support the animals in our society, our pets, our dogs, our cats. So buy one of our t-shirts and help us give some money to the Humane Society. On that note, we say, always our crew, we can't do it without you. And we sign off tonight. And this is a record show, 2 hours and 12 minutes. I think that's a record, Davey.
Yep.
All right. To everyone, thank you for watching the show. Thank you very much. We hope you enjoyed.